Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to continue our top 5 series for top 5 decks of each attribute, and in this video we're going to do wind attribute. Okay, so just as a little recap, what we consider for these videos are decks that are pretty much entirely the given attribute, and then we look at what was their peak success, like did they win YCSs, and then what was their long-term success, like did they top in multiple formats. Alright, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get started into our top 5, and I'll just have to say that the wind attribute decks are few and far between. They generally suck, so slim pickings at the bottom. We're gonna have to go at number 5 with Harpies. So the classic My Valentine archetype from back in the original show. Harpies had a lot of potential, but just never really worked out. I think they won one YCS in like Brazil or something, so they kind of get the number 5 spot because none of the other options really did anything. But yeah, there's a lot of potential in this deck. They have a lot of good cards. Harpie's Featherstorm is still played today in Floowandereeze. But, Channeler, Hysteric Party, Hysteric Sign, all that stuff, it could never really get it done, never really come together to be a top tier contender. And for that reason, Harpy is just going to be stuck in the number 5 spot. Moving on to number 4. Again, man, oh gosh. It's just slim pickings. So, number 4 is Windwitch. Windwitch is pretty much just an engine to make Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, but it did top a lot of events. So being combined with other decks, I think most notably Invoked was the primary second engine that it was paired with to make, I think, Crystal Wing Ragin or something like that. So yeah, just not a whole lot to choose from. We got to give number 4 spot to something, and just the number of tops for Windwitch just gets it the number 4 spot. Okay, the top 3 is going to be a lot better than 4 and 5. There's not a whole lot of wind archetypes. We'll see what we can do. So, moving on up to number 3, we have Lyrilusc. Okay, so Lyrilusc is kind of a newer strategy. It got really popular with the release of Bird Call. It was very strong at its peak. Up some Morg, Apex Avian, and Barrier Statue, and all that kind of stuff was just kind of oppressive, to be honest. Non-targeting Barrier Statue, being able to dump Tri-Brigade Rendezvous to stop it from being destroyed by battle. Just a lot of good combos, especially with the Tri-Brigade strategy. And to be honest, there's not a lot of competition in this list, so I think Lyrilusc does deserve the number 3 spot in terms of just its peak power. Very strong when it was at its best. It very quickly got hit by having some Morg banned, and then Restful Starling down to 1. It's now back to 2, so I think Lyrilusc is, we haven't seen the end of it. I think it's still going to creep back up into the top tiers once our tier 0 format is over. Alright, so that gets the number 3 spot. Moving on to number 2, we're going to go with a pendulum strategy. Very popular around the 2015 to 2017 era. Most known for its raccoon. We are talking about Majespecter. Okay, so Majespecter was paired with a lot of different strategies. We had Metal Foam Majespecter, we had Ties of the Brethren Majespecter, we had Odd Eyes, we had Card of Demise. We had a lot of good Majespecter strategies throughout the years, and just had a lot of sustained success, has a lot of power cards. Even now Majespecter is being brought back up, even though Kieran is banned, probably for good. Very strong strategy, a lot of tops. It won a lot of events. It could be argued to be in the number 1 spot, but I think at number 2 is where Majespecter really should belong. And then moving up to number 1, one of the classic wind attribute strategies of all time, came out in Hidden Arsenal first, then Star Strike Blast with one of its most powerful synchro monsters. We are talking about Dragunity. Okay, so Dragunity was very strong back at its peak when you could just have pretty much a 1-card synchro 8. Was very strong back in its debut. Then it was later on paired with Dragon Rulers, when Dragon Rulers as a whole got knocked down when all the rulers themselves got hit to 1. Dragunity came in quickly and filled that gap. Was able to put up multiple interruptions. Big bodies. Very strong strategy. It kind of fell off, unfortunately. The Dragunity support of late has not been good enough to really compete, and that's pretty much because of hand traps, to be honest. Dragunity Ducks, the main, I guess, starter, is just, it gets hit by 1 hand trap and you're pretty much toast. So that's why it's really fallen off in recent meta, but At its peak, I think it was the best wind attribute deck of all time. Deserves to be in the 1 spot. Now let's really quickly talk about the decks that did not make the cut. I'll start with the Secret Forces decks, Yosenju and Ritual Beast. They just haven't done enough. I know Ritual Beast has topped some stuff, but I don't think they deserve the number 5 spot over Harpies, just because Harpies has been around literally since the beginning of the game. So we're going to have to leave those guys out of the top 5. And then moving on, we have the Machine Wind archetypes. We have Mecha Phantom Beast, we have Speedroid, and we have, I guess if you want to call them FA, whatever. They just, as archetypes themselves, have not done enough. Yes, Speedroid gave us Terror Top, which was huge, but the Speedroid deck as a whole was not good enough. Mecha Phantom Beast gave us Dragosac and Olion and Auroradon. Amazing cards outside of their strategy, but within the Mecha Phantom Beast strategy, they're pretty garbage. So unfortunately, those archetypes are going to have to stay down out of the top 5, and we are going to stick with Harpies, Windwitch, Lyrilusc, Specter, and Dragunity in our top 5. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Wind, not so good, but we had to get it out of the way so we can move on to the best 3 attributes of all time with Earth, Light, and Dark. So with that, let's wrap this one up. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Comment, subscribe, would really appreciate that. And we will catch you guys in the next video.